What's up? Happy Friday the 13th, people. Yes, it is your boy Nornrad89 here. Yes, here to celebrate Friday the 13th. Luckily, this is an amazing year because 2026 is going to be a year where we're going to have three Friday the 13th. And today I would like to discuss my hopes for the franchise in the future and what I want Friday the 13th to look like 30 years from now. So let's get into this. Roll it. Yes, it's a Friday the 13th, the first Friday the 13th of the new year, and we have Valentine's Day tomorrow. So, this is a very special Friday the 13th, and I thought it would be really cool to talk about my love for the franchise, but also my hope for the future and what I want Friday the 13th to look like 30 years from now, praying up to heaven and everybody and out there that good luck that I will be alive and here from 30 years from now to see what the franchise looks like. So for me, Friday the 13th, I know if you're like a staple member or a YouTube member or a subscriber and you've been around on the channel, you know this is my favorite horror franchise. But for anybody that's new to the channel or anyone that's just subscribed, Friday the 13th is the franchise that got me hooked into horror films. This is the one that got me obsessed with going to the video store, renting videos over and over. Like, this was the franchise. I didn't see this franchise on home video, though. Really, my viewing of this franchise was usually during like AMC Monster Fest and just not streaming, streaming. I'm used to now nowadays, but just watching it on television when it was like Fear Fest or Monster Fest back in the day with my grandfather on the television on AMC. That's kind of how I saw a lot of these films. So they were TV edited, but eventually I did see them on VHS. So Friday the 13th has always been a very prominent franchise in my life since a youngling child. And as I said, was the one that got me really into horror and just being obsessed with finding new and different other franchises or other slashers to get immersed into. So it's no secret or like anything like that if you're going to be my friend or you're going to be like my kids or my mom, anybody, if you know me or you're going to be associated with me in any form or fashion, you're going to have to know something about Friday the 13th or you're going to end up learning about it because of me. That's how this franchise is and that's how much I love this franchise. But when it comes to my hopes for the future, we have a bright future because we are on the cusp of doing something very new for the franchise, which is kind of similar to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise, which we recently heard got scooped up by A24 and they're planning on doing a series. We already know that A24 has the rights to Jason Voorhees and they're doing Camp Crystal Lake, which is a TV show that's going to be streaming on Peacock. And I know a lot of people are very nervous because it's been a very long time since Friday the 13th was a television series. But that television series back in the day didn't really have anything to do with Jason Voorhees. It was something very different from that. It was more like, kind of different mysteries or different stories throughout, different episodes. It wasn't really about Jason at all. So this is our first opportunity for kind of like It Welcome to Derry or, Stranger Things Chapter 5, like, you know what I mean? All the Stranger Things seasons or even Alien Earth, our chance to take Jason Voorhees to the small screen and see what happens because it's going to give us so much more time to dive into the lore and add stuff to the franchise, which me, as a Friday the 13th fan, I'm excited because it's a new horizon. This is something we've never done before, and I know people love the Friday the 13th movies. I love the Friday the 13th movies. I even love Jason Goes to Hell. A lot of people slam that movie and completely shun that film because it's totally unlike any of the other films, but I have so much fun with Jason Goes to Hell. But I'm very excited for this new age of Friday the 13th because we are stepping into completely new territory. And now, as it stands for my hopes as a Friday the 13th fan, where it comes to where I want this franchise to be 30 years from now, I know this is going to sound kind of stupid and weird, but I'm a James Bond fan. I love 007, and I would love for Friday the 13th for eventually to be like that, where we have 20 to 20 plus films, and there's so many different iterations, or there's television shows, and so many different movies, and there's fans of all kinds of different versions of Jason Voorhees. Like, that is my dream. And I know that sounds maybe kind of stupid to some people out there, but like, I'm coming to you telling you right now, I'm a James Bond fan, and we've had so many decades of James Bond 007 penetrating pop culture from all the way back in the 60s all the way to now with the recent era, and then coming into a new era of James Bond. And I feel like I want that to happen for Friday the 13th, whereas Jason Voorhees. But it kind of sucks because there has been a long gap. There's been a 15-16 year gap where we haven't had any movies, but we are transitioning into television now. So this is definitely a new era. Do I think forever Friday the 13th will just be a television show? No. I think eventually they are going to go to theaters again. We are going to get Friday the 13th films. But me, as a fan of the franchise, I'm telling you what I want. When I'm in my 70s or going into my 80s, I want to be going to the theaters, or, if the theaters are gone, who knows? If the theaters are gone by then and it's just streaming, I want to be watching Friday the 13th, 21, the final chapter times two, whatever the hell kind of stupid name they're going to come up with it. I'm going to be there because I love this franchise so much. And this is a franchise that's been there for me, like in the ups and downs of me being a child, going through so much loss in my family, or, going through having children or being married. There's one constant in my life, and it's Jason Voorhees. It's Friday the 13th. It's always been there. I know I'm getting kind of emotional. My eyes are kind of watering right now, but that's how it is. Like, Friday the 13th's kind of always been there and will always be there. And I love passing it on, horror films. And, Jason Voorhees might not be my son's favorite or my daughter's favorites, but they know horror films, and they've met Jason Voorhees and met other horror films through me because of my love of it. So that's what I mean. Friday the 13th is a staple in my home, and I love celebrating it. And on this Friday the 13th right now, currently, I have Friday the 13th Part 2 right now playing on the television right now in the living room across right now as I'm talking to you all right now. So I hope you all have an amazing Friday the 13th, and also a happy Valentine's Day, spending with your loved ones, your family. And even if you're single, maybe you're going to go out on a date, or you're going to go find someone for Valentine's Day. I hope you have an amazing, beautiful, safe time. That's the most important thing. But also for your boy Norin Rad, please try to watch some Friday the 13th today. Show some love to Jason Voorhees. It's his birthday too.